What's up, guys? Welcome back. So now I'm going to change out my shock pistons to the VRP shock pistons and show you what the VRP shock pistons are all about and why I like them a lot. So I'm going to start taking these apart. Let's get to work. Alright guys, so I got the shock shafts out. If you were watching the time-lapse video, you noticed that I kept messing with one shock. I had one of my shock shafts was bent. Whenever you pull your shocks apart, it's really good to move them up and down, and if there's any binding at all, that usually is a sign that your shock shaft is bent. I, in this case, had a bent shock shaft. And how you bend a shock shaft is if you get hit really hard by another car, that can definitely bend shock shaft because it hits the shock first. So this is the VRP Xb3 Pistons, I believe is what they're called. And this is what comes in a kit. These are only 2 pistons, so whenever you buy it, you only get 2 pistons. I have the other pair of pistons in my VRP my piston caddy, but I'm just going to show you on 2 of them. So we're going to do the front shock shafts first. Freaking hair. So you have your shock piston, and then you have a thick washer. It looks like, if I had to guess, maybe a 2mm washer, a 1mm washer, the nuts for the shock shaft, and then your valves. So the way you put this on is first you put the 2mm washer, and it fits a little snug, but it fits perfect. So that goes on there like so, on your shock shaft. And then you put your piston on with the VRP facing up. So the Xb3 VRP facing up. Actually, I put the rounded side down. I'm going to put the rounded side. Front side up. There you go. Alright, now you put your valves on. So the valves are these little black pieces. There's a good way to put it on, I think. You put it on this way. Yep, there you go. Put your valves on. They just snap right on in there, and then you put the 1mm washer on top. This is actually what keeps your valves from staying onto the piston. And then you need Loctite. You want to be generous with the Loctite on this one. I really like this Loctite. A lot of people don't agree, but it's good Loctite. So I'll put a generous amount of Loctite on here. And then the nut. Spin it on first with your hand so you don't cross thread it. My ProTech shock shaft wrench. You tighten that on as tight as you can. It looks pretty flush on top. And alright. And there it is. So basically what happens, how this piston works is, this is actually a 515. I'm actually about to drill these out. I have my drill bit right here. I really liked 516 better. So I'm going to drill these out to 516 instead of buy new ones. But the way this piston works is you get more pack because when your piston is moving up in your shock body, these valves close, so you're getting more pack. However, whenever it comes back down, these valves open up, so you have more oil going through, so it actually rebounds faster. So you don't lose pack, but you get more rebound, and that's why these pistons are so great. So I'm going to put this other piston on first, and then I'm going to drill these out. Alright guys, so I got the VRP pistons in. I went ahead and put all the shocks together that way you guys didn't have to sit through all that. But now we're going to fill them up. So I run 650 PT racing oils, 650 in the front, 500 in the rear with 516 VRP Xb3 pistons. So this is the front. Obviously they're front because they're shorter. This is a little dirty. I'm going to clean this off. And then I want to put 650, so you just fill it up to the top, pump it a few times. You'll see some bubbles come up, especially since I just took the piston apart. Putting my VRP shock stand. What's cool about this is it labels what is what. What shock is what. So see, you're seeing a little bit of some bubbles come up out of the top there. Perfectly normal. Rear are on 500 CST. See if I can 500 CST. Fill it all the way up to the top. Pump the shock. You're going to see bubbles come up. Let that sit. Same with the other shock. Bubbles are coming up just as I think, or I'm expecting. A little more in there. And then I'm going to let those sit in a stand. Now, these are the emulsion shock caps for a Gamma, Gamma A215 or any of the Gamma cars really. This basically just gives you, it's just a bleeder shock cap. Gives you the ability to run emulsion shocks. Again, I did some testing over the past few weeks, and I really like the emulsion shock with the VRP pistons. Before that, I ran 615s, same oil, especially in the cold. I ran the same oil. When it's cold, you want to run a little bit lighter because it thickens up a little bit. So I ran 615s, and also at one point I ran 813s. Both those pistons are perfectly capable. So if you're running those and they feel good, you're right in the vicinity where you need to be for shocks for the Gamma. So this is what comes in the emulsion shock kit. When I first got this, I was like, so there's some shocks where this O-ring actually goes around the shock body. It doesn't. It actually goes in the shock cap. So go ahead and put your O-rings in your shock caps. Make sure it's seated at the very, very top of the shock cap. Try to do this where you guys can see it. There you go. And the last one. Trust me, I'm trying to go as fast as I can because it's getting late and I do got to work tomorrow. That's the thing about these big races. Like, most people stress out to make sure they have everything. I gotta stress out about so many things. I gotta make sure my cars are ready. We're doing the podcast tomorrow from the track, so I gotta make sure all the podcast stuff is ready. I'm not taking any days off, so I'm a little overwhelmed right now, but I just gotta remember that I'm here to have fun. I do just have fun, so not to stress out too much. So, whenever you do these emulsion shocks, first off, you want to make sure you grab the right shock oil, which this is the front, so I'm going to go 650. You're going to fill it all the way to the top, almost where it's coming over to the edge. It's okay that there's a little bit of, there's some bubbles in there, because the nature of emulsion shocks is there's a little bit of air in the shock. So, I'm going to show you one thing. The hole is actually almost directly in the middle. So I'm going to show you how to lean the shock. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to screw the shock on, and you're only going to want to do this hand tight. With the bladder shocks, I actually tightened it all the way down with I stuck a hex driver through there and I tightened it all the way down. But with the emulsion shocks, because there's that O-ring on top, just do it hand tight. So that's about as tight as I'm going to get it. I'm going to get my screw ready. And then, almost perfectly straight up, I'm going to go ahead and start to compress the shock. Slowly. And you should start to see a little bit of oil come out the top. There's a little bit of oil. Then I'm going to lean it just a smidge to see if I can get some air out of it. I got just a little bit of air. And then I'm going to push the rest of it all the way through, all the way up as far as I can get it. Now, I'm going to put this screw in with my fingers. That's key, because I've cross-threaded these before. So you want to screw it in with your fingers as much as you can. And then take your 2mm driver and screw it all the way down. And that shock is done. No air, nothing. It's perfect. So then I spray it off. A little bit of brake cleaner. Cleaned it off really good. Tighten it all the way down. And that is how you build an emulsion shock. So everything looks perfect on that one. So a lot of the other thing you'll hear is people putting it at a 45-degree angle. That might be the case, but in that case, the hole is probably in the edge. So the hole is, basically you want to do it where the hole is directly on top, so that's how you're getting the most air. But these holes are right in the middle, and I first tried to do it with a 45-degree angle because that's what I'm used to doing whenever I build emulsion shocks, and there's a little bit of air. So right in the middle, push it up until you see it, use your finger to do the bleeder valve, and you're good. This one looks good. Alright, so I'm not going to make y'all sit through that, but that's how you build it. I'm going to build the rest of these shocks. I'm also running the new springs. These are the new black springs. On the rear I'm running black. The black spring, it's the pink dot black spring. Here's your part number on that one. And then on the front I'm running the black spring pink dot also. Here's your part number on that one. This setup worked. It felt great. The car was super forgiving. It wasn't crazy. And it was easy to drive. So, but that's how you build an emulsion shock. I'm going to build the rest of these. I'm not going to make y'all guys sit through it. I'm going to put my car back together. I already put my engine back in my car, and I'm pretty much ready to go, at least for practice day. I'm going to make a couple more bodies and or sticker up a couple more bodies for the actual race. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Again, if you like these videos, please subscribe, share it on Facebook. Also, if you want to see any particular tutorial video, definitely hit me up. I don't mind giving it a shot. So, man, it's shaking a lot. I was moving my leg. I don't mind doing another tutorial. So, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Please subscribe. See you later.